Problem, YouTube? Hello friends, JJ Merrill here, and welcome back to yet another installment of my Dota 2 strategy series. And this is actually going to be over a very recently released hero, Mr. Troll Warlord. Troll was only released at the recording of this video a few days ago, and this is going to be a little bit different than my other guides because this is admittedly only about my 5th or 6th game with Troll, but I think I have a pretty good idea of how to play this guy. And that being said, this guy is amazing. He is one of the most fun heroes I've played in a very long time, and I hope by watching this guide I can spread the love for trolls everywhere. And again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you walk away with some valuable knowledge from this. If you're not as familiar with my series, I'm making these to give people a basic overview of certain heroes within Dota 2, and just to give you kind of a better idea of what you're getting into if you're interested in playing a specific hero, champion, whatever you want to call it, blah blah blah. Anyway, Troll Warlord, this guy is freaking incredible. One thing I want to point out right away is look how much health I have at level 1 with Berserker's Rage. God, this guy is so strong. So if you're not familiar with the basic concept of Troll Warlord, I'm going to go over all 4 of his skills. Then I'm going to talk about things like basic item builds, how you should be coordinating yourself in team fights, and your overall general strategy. But before we do that, I think we're actually going to see some really early action here. The Alina Earthshaker, this Earthshaker, I don't know what he was thinking, but he really wanted this kill. I walked forward very slightly to dodge the Lina stun. Otherwise, that might have turned out a little bit differently. But, and we actually... Okay, I thought someone beat us to the first blood. I was about to say, no way. No way someone beat us to that. So, level 1 first blood, and that was awesome. And that is going to lead me to my very first point of discussion, that Troll Warlord is an exceptionally strong early game hero. While he does have the traits and characteristics of a late game carry, I don't feel that he should be played as such. We're going to go for yet again some more action. You're going to get a level 2 kill on Lina, throw out a combo. I don't remember if we actually get the Earthshaker or not. You'll notice what I'm doing here is I'm praying for a bash. I'm going to switch to range form, and it's going to be just barely out of my reach. Almost got the guy. So very, very fast-paced game already, and this is what Troll excels at. He is a hero that is very, very hard to fight at level 1. I'm hoping that the action is going to slow down for a second so I can finally talk about this guy's skills and what makes him so strong at these early levels. So, I do think some more action is going to break out, but... I think you guys get the general idea of what's going on. Earthshaker and Lina is actually not a bad combo in all honesty, but the way that they're playing this is, well, I don't have to say it, it's not very good. So they're trying, but not doing all that terribly well. Anyway, Troll Warlord, I'm going to go over his basic skills right now. The first one is really makes his signature skill too is Berserker's Rage. So this is an instant toggle ability that allows you to change stances between ranged and melee. Very, very cool, and there's no other hero in the game that operates quite like this. So the default stance, Troll Warlord is a ranged hero, and he has 500 attack range. Pretty respectable, you know. I'm going to go into Hero Chase, actually. So, yeah, again, more hell breaking loose. I think we're actually going to kill her. Yeah. Damn, that nuke does a lot of damage early on. Trying to throw some axes at her. And I actually made a mistake in my skill build here. Otherwise, I think I probably would have killed her. Throw some more axes. Anyway, back to the skill build, if the action will slow down for just a freaking second. So Berserker's Rage is a really unique skill that allows you to switch stances. You can see I'm switching stances pretty actively in the lane to switch between range and melee. You get a lot of bonuses whenever you're in melee form. A lot of bonuses. From level 1, I have plus 15 damage. So at level 1, you can start with around 65 damage if you have some branches in your inventory. I think it's 62 damage base with Berserker's Rage on at level 1. That is a lot of damage. That's what most, like, well, not even most, but a lot of strength heroes start as. And that is exceptionally good. What that really means is that I don't have to worry about buying, like, a Quelling Blade or anything like that when I go into the lane. By the way, one really important thing, if you do buy something like a Quelling Blade or Stout Shield, you might be aware that there are, let me go and bring one up, there's differences based upon whether you're melee or you're ranged. This will change depending on Troll Warlord's stance. So you can use items like Stout Shield and Quelling Blade, but the values are going to change depending on if you're in your range or your melee form. So that's actually really helpful to know. Get out of the shop, bring this back up, and okay. You get a ton of bonuses. 15 damage, 20 move speed, 100 bonus HP, 3 bonus armor, and you bash people. 10% bash chance is one of the lower ones in the game, but it has to be this low because as you learn about his other skills, you're going to see why it's only 10%. This guy attacks really, really, really fast. But anyway, to drive home the point about Troll Warlord's early game strength, This guy is a massive gamer, and you should be doing exactly what Disruptor and I are doing right now. Be very, very aggressive early on in your lane and go for early kills, because the 100 bonus HP from this is huge. The extra attack damage is massive. This couples really well with the second skill, Whirling Axes. This is actually a two-part skill. So depending on whichever stance you're in, you're going to throw out a different type of axe. Currently I'm in Whirling Axes melee stance. This does a fairly respectable nuke damage in an AoE of 450, and it has a 60% miss chance for 4 to 7 seconds depending on its level, which is actually quite big, and this can make Troll pretty effective against other carries in the late game. And I wish I would go back into range form for a minute so I can talk about the ranged axes. But anyway, the ranged axes is a 900 range cone of axes that fly out, and it slows enemies by 30%, and I think it does 75 damage. I'd have to go back into range form to be 100% sure. There we go. Okay. Yep, 75 damage. It goes out into a cone, and the slow duration is 5.5 seconds at level 4. But even at level 1, I think it's like 2.5, 3 seconds, something like that. So you have a super long range slow, a pretty respectable nuke in an AoE that also gives a miss chance, and you have a ton of bonus HP from early levels. This guy, while he can serve as an effective late game carry, these two skills right here, you should be extremely aggressive in your lane and go for early kills as much as you possibly can. Think of it as if you were playing a hero like Undying or someone like that, where your entire purpose of your existence is to kill people in the lane early on. That's what Troll is all about. He's not meant to be played like, say, an anti-mage or a Faceless Void, where you're going to be farming for a good part of the game, and then come out and kill everybody at the end. Not that Troll isn't going to kill everybody at the end anyway, but you're going to be killing people in the lane in the meantime. His third skill, Fervor, this is a passive skill and another one of Troll's signature abilities. As you attack a single target, you gain stacks of this ability, and you attack faster. So level 1, you get 2 stacks of Fervor if you attack a target, and that means a bonus of 40 bonus attack speed. So you're going to see a little counter appear on my buffs as I attack a target. I might get one here. No, I'm not going to. Yeah, actually, I have 1 stack of Fervor, so if you stay on one target, you're going to be gaining stacks of attack speed. So I have 40 attack speed right now on that one creep. However, if I switch targets, notice how the stacks disappear, and my stacks now reset back to 1 from 2. So the important thing to take away from this is, actually I want to talk about this here. So it looks like we're being ganked right now. I'm actually going to use my ulti and use my axes, kill the Earthshaker pretty quickly, and Lena's coming in here. Thankfully her stun does miss, so I'm going to try to focus her down as quick as I can. Pop my wand just to get my HP and mana back up a bit, and now I'm going to try to man fight the Shadow Fiend. Throw some axes at him, get off a good bash, which is always nice. Use my AoE nuke, doing a lot of damage to this guy. Switch to range and try to kill him, but he's going to raise me and I die. And then all of a sudden, boom! Zeus takes him out. So this guy is really, really powerful early game fighter. Alright, so I had so much fun playing this hero. This is, I think, my 4th or 5th game on this hero. I played it a few days ago, and just I felt at home immediately when I picked this guy up. So I like to max out Whirling Axes first, as you can see, because the nuke damage on the range form is quite good, and the slow duration goes up by quite a bit as well. So for standard skill build, I'd recommend sticking to this path that I'm on right now. His ultimate is really, really, really good. I'm going to go for a kill on the Earthshaker, so notice he's slowed by quite a bit. I'm meaning to dodge the fissure. I don't want to get blocked in right here, so I intentionally walked in behind him. Use my ulti, switch to range so I can stay on this guy, and I'm probably going to dive this. Use a drum charge, bang, another kill. Alright, so important things that I did there. I made sure to hit him with the ranged axes so that he was slowed. I made sure not to get fissure blocked so that the fissure wouldn't go down like right here, but instead he had to fissure me right here instead. That means I could switch to my range form and kill him with ranged axes. It's really important when you're playing this hero to use your stances accordingly. I'm still not all that great at it. Again, keep in mind this is only my 4th or 5th game with this guy, but you kind of get used to it. Like, switch your forms whenever you can't get to a target or a target is fleeing from you and you need to get in some last hits. But otherwise, I recommend staying in melee form for most of the time, because the bonuses you get are just way too huge, particularly the bash. You do not bash when you're in range form, so keep that in mind. His ultimate, this is good use of the ultimate you can see right here. So Whenever you pop his ultimate, this is a global attack speed buff for your entire team. That's really, really, really good. It's only on a 20-second cooldown for 75 mana. At level 1, it gives you 60 attack speed, which is pretty respectable, and it doubles at level 2, so you get a huge spike in power the moment that you hit level 11. So we've already taken top tower here. We played a good, aggressive game, and this is the point where we're actually just going to go ahead and 5-man the bottom lane. The reason that we're doing this is because, again, I want to really drive home the point that while Troll can be an effective late-game carry, you should be playing him like this and trying to go for a lot of really early action before the enemy can catch up. For example, this Drow Ranger here, with an equal amount of farm, Drow actually might be able to stand toe-to-toe with me here. I'm almost going to die here, but I pop a drum charge just to try to get away. Notice what happened there. The Drow did shoot at me, but she still had the mischance debuff on her for my axes. This mischance is great, and it lasts for 7 seconds for 60% mischance. So, on the topic of how Troll stands against other carries, if I were against, say, like an equally farmed Phantom Lancer, Drow, Faceless Void, insert any hard carry here, in my opinion, I don't think Troll is going to be able to stand toe-to-toe with those guys. While his mischance is going to help immensely with that, understand that when the late game rolls around, they're going to have BKBs, they're going to have Mantis Styles, they're going to be able to dispel this quite easily. So this is great against other carries, but it's not going to stand as well on its own. So I highly recommend playing a very fast, very aggressive game with Troll. Next important point that I want to talk about is my item build. I use a fairly unorthodox build on this guy. The recommended items recommend going for Phase Boots followed by a Helm of the Dominator, which I do agree with. That's a very good build. However, the build that I'm going for here, where I finish Tranquils into a Wand, into a Drum, is meant to get me up in the field as fast as I possibly can, and get me fighting as fast as I can, and also very sustained. So going after this here, Earthshaker, pop a Drum Charge. Again, look how fast I'm able to fight here without a whole lot of items. I'm going for really, really high early game dominance with this build. So the reasoning behind the Tranquil Boots versus Phase, I love Phase on heroes like this because Phase is going to allow you to chase. Matter of fact, let's go and just bring up the shop so I can talk about, let's compare these two items. So let's go ahead and bring up, yeah, look how fast towers die with, Jesus, that is so fast. Bring up Phase Boots here. Before I do that, I'm actually going to go into a hero chase. Sorry guys, these controls are still a little, you think I'd be better at it by now, but that's okay. So, Phase Boots. Phase Boots are an excellent choice on Troll for a couple of reasons. Popping Phase is going to make sure that you can stay on a target and hopefully proc a bash. It's going to allow you to stay glued to someone. That is absolutely critical for this hero. Think of him kind of like Ursa in that sense. How when you're playing as Ursa, you have to stay on top of a target or else you really can't do anything. Phase is going to allow you to do that. The plus damage is absolutely wonderful too because you do not need any attack speed on this hero. Your attack speed needs are covered by Fervor and Battle Trance. They're going to give you all the attack speed you really need. But the reason that I go Tranquils is not only do they give you a lot of movement speed just by themselves, fight's going down, good Magnus ulti, great Disruptor Fence as well. My team did most of the work in that particular fight, to be totally honest with you. But I kind of came in and just mopped it up. Handy little tip you can do, by the way, notice I'm taking tower aggro. I can auto-attack one of my allied heroes and switch it to them instead. So I'm like, hey Disruptor, take some tower aggro for me, so another useful thing you can do there. Anyway, back to Tranquil Boots. The reason I like this item so much on this hero is because by itself, it gives you a lot of movement speed, armor, and HP regen. But here's the thing, is Troll does not use much mana. Your axes cost 50 mana apiece. So in a fight, I'm going to use my ranged axes followed up by my melee, and then I'll probably use my ultimate as well. But I don't use a whole lot of mana overall. By the way, this guy is the worst intelligence gain in the entire game, which is kind of awesome in a way. But Tranquil Boots is going to allow me to stay on the field much, much, much longer. While the lifesteal from things like Helm of the Dominator is a good substitute, I feel like Tranquil Boots are far too good on this hero to pass up in a lot of scenarios. That's the thing about Tranquil Boots, is they're good on just about anybody. So give this a try. While Phase is highly recommended, I would also recommend Tranquil Boots. Kind of situational. The reason I pick up a Magic Wand is I like Wand on pretty much any hero that you know that you're going to be very, very active on in the early game, particularly heroes that have like low mana pools. So while Troll doesn't, Jesus, I'm going to switch to range and pick up a steal that kill. That's another cool thing you can do. So again, always be conscious of which stance you're in. It's really going to help you out. So again, the reason I like Wand on guys like this is if I pop this, my mana bar is going to shoot way up. So if I was low on mana, it's not going to be a problem anymore. And lastly, Drum of Endurance. If you've watched my videos before, you know that I love Drum of Endurance. Here's why I like Drum on Troll. I need every single attribute this gives me. I need to be a little tankier. I don't mind some more agility for more damage. And the +9 intelligence is really good. And I'll explain my reasoning here. For each point of intelligence, you get 13 mana, right? So for 9 intelligence, that's 9, 27, that's, well, it's about 117 mana, something like that. Anyway, I'll check my math later. Math is hard. I don't care. Yeah, that's 117. All right, anyway, so you get 117 mana from having +9 intelligence. What that means is that is 2 axe casts right there. Like 117 mana, bam. That's my ranged axes and my melee axes. I made my mana pool like 25% higher by picking up a Drum of Endurance. That is really, really helpful. Drum is also really helpful on any heroes that, again, you plan to be very active in the early game with. So this is another highly recommended item, and I would definitely try it on this guy. Not only that, but you're naturally fast with your Berserker's Rage. The move speed on this is going to make you even faster. Like, I'm running at 414 right now. That is really, really fast. Really good pickup. So, standard build is Phase into Helm of the Dominator, and a big part of that is Helm of the Dominator is great because it gives you lifesteal whether or not you're in ranged or melee form. But another cool thing that you can do is Troll is an excellent Roshan killer. I'm going to go and kill this Ogre real quick, and I think we're going to take out Roshan. God, look how fast he dies. That is ridiculous. We might go and take bottom tower first, though. So again, I want to drive this point home once more, even though I've said it many times already throughout this video, is that while Troll is an excellent carry, once oh my god, I was having way too much fun this game. What I want you to notice is that, like, I'm not running around like the jungle killing creeps like I would with, like, again, like an anti-mage or something. I'm very active. I'm fighting with my team. I think that's really important if you want to play this hero well. That old drow. I don't want to watch that. Alright. So, next things I want to talk about is, like, what's the next natural item progression? Next natural item progression I might want to do from here. I really like crits in this hero, and reason being is because crits is a very, or Crystallis I should say, is a very cheap, fast way to increase your damage, and again, I don't need attack speed. I don't have to worry about picking up, you know, like a Maelstrom, or, again, that's why I don't like power treads on this hero. I don't think they'd be all that great. They wouldn't be bad, mind you, but I just think there's better boot choices. Crystallis is excellent for giving you a lot more damage very quickly. As you can kind of tell, this guy is a little RNG based. Like, you got to really hope for your 10% bash to go off, and proc and crits is always nice. But if you do get lucky on a few of these hits, you are very hard to stand toe-to-toe with. You can solo most heroes in the game, I would say, for a very long time, and these abilities all together, coupled with this build, is going to help you do that. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to switch to range, specifically because if I stayed in melee form, like, I probably would have still killed the guy, but I would have had to follow him to maybe, like, right, I don't know, here instead. Who's to say that Ogre wouldn't have ran down and fireballed me, and I wouldn't have got the kill anyway. So again, be very conscious of whichever stance you're in, whether you want to use your range or your melee, and use them both accordingly. This drow definitely wants some action, and I remember this. Actually, I figured she was going to wait behind those trees, but she actually didn't. She goes after Disruptor instead. So, gonna go and get in a fight here, and I actually remember how this went down. Gonna go ahead and go in here. Magnus coming in, provide some backup. Echo Slam hits 3, but it's not going to be quite enough. I'm going to come in and back up my team. I want some blood from this here Ogre, but he's going to fireball me, and bang, I die. I buy back because I'm a troll and I'm really mad. TP back to mid because I'm not quite done gaming yet. Want to go back down here and help my team. Again, try to stay in melee form, especially if you're running, because this gives you 20. At levels 1 through 3, it gives you 20 bonus movement speed. At level 4, you actually get 30 bonus movement speed. I am not 100% familiar with all the builds you can go on this guy yet, so I don't think it really... Yeah, it's probably not worth leveling this up early on. The bash duration and bash damage and the move speed do go up at level 4, but getting max stacks of Fervor early on I think is a little bit more valuable. My opinion on this might change as I gain more experience with this guy, but we'll just have to see how it works out. He is such a good tower killer. By the way, fervor stacks do work on towers. So you are a building slayer. You destroy buildings. Towers just absolutely melt. This guy works really well with other heroes that are excellent at pushing down towers, like Tiny or Lycan. Your battle trance, again, remember this is global, it applies to all your allies. Really, really great for that. Troll is an excellent Roshan killer, like I was saying before. Your whirling axes actually make it so it procs on Roshan, so he has a 60% miss chance. This means I can sit here and beat on this guy without a lot of worry about him bashing me to death. This is where I feel like Helm of the Dominator builds are definitely superior to this Tranquil Boots build that I like to go. But again, you know, do whatever feels most comfortable to you, and this hero is still new enough in Dota 2 that I think a lot of people are going to find their own builds and, you know, find stuff that works for them. So take out Roshan, pretty easy. Next item I'm going for is a Black King Bar. If there's one core item on this hero, it is Black King Bar. You have to have it. Again, think of this guy kind of like Ursa, or maybe Lifestealer. If you're stunned all the time and you can't get on a target, you are useless. And if you're thinking of how to counter this hero, do the same exact things against him as you would those guys. Disables that go through BKB are very effective, like Bane, Beastmaster, guys like that. Alright, got a battle breaking out here. I'm in pretty deep, but I managed to hit Shadow Fiend my axes. HP getting really low. Really good Magnus ulti going down here. I'm waiting for the stun to wear off, and man, look at all that burst damage. My E just does pop. Most of the damage there actually was not by me. I did get off a Whirling Axes nuke, but Zeus ulti went off as well. And unfortunately we do not have a creep wave. I really wanted to show off just how quickly you and your team destroy towers with this hero. I have not found a better tower pusher in a long time since the release of this hero. I am just absolutely amazed at how quickly this guy destroys towers. Really, really great for doing that. He'd be really good with a guy like Lone Druid too, just as, kind of as a passing thought. So again, finishing my BKB as quickly as I can. You really don't want to be against heroes that can shut you down through BKB, though. You know, like the two I mentioned, Bane, Beastmaster. Other notable examples like Enigma's Black Hole would be an excellent counter to this guy. Any kind of attack speed slows would be kind of... I don't know, I'll have to think about that one. Or anything like that lowers your base damage is also going to be kind of troublesome for you as well. One cool thing you can do is I can stand back at a range and attack this tower. Note my Fervor Stacks build, and if I switch to melee, your Fervor Stacks do not reset. So if I need to, you know... Oh man. These guys really want to battle. Another great Disruptor Fence going down the top of the ulti. Catches 3 heroes right there. I'm going to switch to melee at this moment because I don't quite want to go in all that deep, but I still want to go ahead and contribute to the fight. Trying to run away here, and Panic ulti. That's not going to do a damn thing, but you know, press R when you're in trouble. This is going to be really close. Really good Disruptor Fence goes down, and that totally saves me with 25 HP. Yeah, the Disruptor kind of carries me through my games, but that's okay. I can admit that. With Troll, one other big piece of advice I would give anybody interested in playing this hero is you want to play with a support that's not really a babysitter. You want to play with a support in your lane that's meant to kill people. So, notable examples of that, Disruptor, Venomancer, guys like that. Heroes that are meant to kill people in your lane are the guys that you want to be laning with. Gonna go back to base, heal up, pick up my Black King Bar. Looks like my team wants to fight a little bit more here, and we're pretty surprisingly tanky at this point. The Disruptor does go down. The old one-target Echo Slam. That'll get the job done. Zeus trying to man-fight the Ogre here. Looks like Ogre wants to TP back to base, but it's not going to quite be enough. And I don't even know. I don't even know why I'm trying to commentate that, but you get the idea. So, core item build is absolutely done at this point, and this is the time whenever I would probably want to retire my Tranquil Boots. The game is close to over at this point, but I would want to retire these boots at some point and probably just turn them into phase, or if it was later in the game, turn them into boots of travel. And then at that point, I might want to pick up a Helm of the Dominator, turn that to a Satanic. But I actually want to talk about Vladimir's for a moment. So I'm going to go into Hero Chase, and I'm going to bring up Vlad's. And before you say this is bad, hear me out. So, Vlad's, you would benefit from all these stats except the lifesteal when you're in range form. You do not get that when you're in range, but you do get the lifesteal whenever you're in melee form. That being said, you're going to do most of your fighting in melee form anyway. I don't think that Vladimir's offering is a bad pickup on this hero. While I think that there may be better choices, I would consider this option. So I would disassemble my Tranquils, use the Ring of Regen from that to build into a Vladimir's, and Ring of Regen and Ring of Protection for that matter. So disassemble these, build the Vlads, turn the boots into a phase, and that right there gives me quite a big burst in power. Drow is going to be absolutely no problem. Again, keep in mind that in a game that wasn't so one-sided as this, if the Drow was, say on my level, equally farmed at level 15, I would still be able to solo her. I have absolutely no doubt about that. Whirling Axe's a 60% miss chance is really, really high. But if both her and I were around, you know, the level 25 mark, and she had BKB and preferably MKB against Troll Warlord, it's going to be a little bit closer. I played a game after this one where the game went much, much longer, and I did end up buying you know, Satanic, all that good stuff, and I was able to stand toe-to-toe with the enemy's other carry, but I still feel like Troll is not as hard of a carry as he might seem like on paper, if that makes sense. So at this point, the game is definitely close to over, but item progression I would go from here. I'd probably like to finish my Crystallis into a Daedalus. Again, this is the point where having lifesteal would be extremely beneficial. Me personally, just my own play style, I don't feel like lifesteal is helpful enough in the early game to really warrant, you know, the standard Helm and the Dominator build. There's nothing wrong with it though, and that's definitely the more common build. You're probably not going to see too many people build Troll like this with, you know, Tranquils and a drum, but this is just the way that I feel comfortable playing him, and, you know, give it a try, see how it works for you, and you develop your own builds. If there's one thing you walk away from with these guides, it's that you should always be thinking about, like, what can I do that really suits my play style, and how can I improve my gameplay instead of just blindly following some guide somewhere. So, you know, always be thinking of new things to try and new strategies that you can think of. That's probably the best advice I'd give to any player that's looking to improve. So yeah, game is definitely over at this point. I think we're just going to screw around and, you know, feed in the fountain for a bit. That's okay. Not a whole lot to talk about in that regard, but other than that, a couple other things that I can definitely go over. Whenever you are planning out your next items, especially like with Satanic, you really need to think to yourself, am I against a team where Satanic is really even going to offer me all that much benefit? Like, we can take a look at that item now. Because Satanic is a very natural progression from Helm of the Dominator. So while this is a good item and the lifesteal is insane, like if you're not disabled and you're beating on a target, you are not going to die. 175% lifesteal for 3.5 seconds. That's really, really good. By the way, don't buy Mask of Madness on this guy. Well, you can if you want. Let me know how that works for you. But this item is really, really great. But if you're locked down the entire time by, you know, chain stuns, this is not going to help you all that much. So you should be thinking instead, you know, maybe how to tank up or go for something like, maybe like a Heart of Tarask. I actually would not mind in this guy. The longer that I can stay alive, that's the longer I can build up fervor stacks, the longer I can keep beating on targets. So Troll is fantastic hero. However, I would not want most games to go terribly long as if I was against similarly farmed hard carry like, you know, Phantom Lancer or something like that. Alright. Beating on people a little bit more. By the way, the reason I say not to get Mask of Madness, I didn't mean to cut myself off so short on that, is you don't need the attack speed, like, at all, and just don't. the squishiness is way, way too much, too. This would be a very fun trolly item, and well, who knows, maybe I'll try it in my next game. Alright guys, that is going to be it for this one. I know this one was fairly short, but I wanted to go and get this out just because Troll's still fairly new. I'm still fairly new to the hero as well, but I had so much fun playing this guy over the past couple days that I just had to make some content for him. So, again, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you walk away with some knowledge. Try this guy out. Pair him up with other heroes that are super strong early game, or other heroes that benefit a lot from increased attack speed. And remember, keep an eye on your map too. Your ultimate is global, so always watch what your allies are doing. Let's look at the final score screen here. Got some stuff. They got some stuff. Not even 100 last hits between the two teams, so definitely a very action-packed games. Play this hero if you like playing Dota. I will leave it at that. Alright guys, take care.